I just pulled the turbo back off the Cummins here so I can change the half of the AC box that I knocked the hole in. I'm sure glad I took it apart because this thing has got more crap in the bottom of it than you can ever imagine. It's like 1 inch thick of dirt, and who knows what else that other stuff is. So I'm going to get this thing cleaned up and then put my turbo back on. And I'm sure glad that I took it apart because this thing is plugged up like you would not believe. So anyhow, I'm going to get this cleaned up and put her back together. Well, I got the heater box changed out and I got the turbo back on the Cummins here. And I got my air cleaner on there. Not a whole lot of room to fit, but I got a couple inches there. Yeah, more like about an inch. But anyhow, it clears. And then I need to get rid of this 45 right here. And I need to get a weldable flange and some mandrel bent U-tube pipe so I can make my flange. And I can have a straight 90 coming off this thing because that's too much of a weird angle to put a piece of pipe on. I did have a piece of pipe I did try, but it just ain't gonna work. I need to go straight down instead of at a 45. That's what that's looking like. So it'll give me more clearance right here once I build my own down pipe off the turbo. Let me show you the other side. We got the stainless steel fuel lines running all the way to the back of the frame now. And this little tie wire right there, you can see some meat still left on it. That thing right there is about a headache. I was putting the fuel lines on the side of the motor and that thing nailed me a good one. I need to get a new pair of flush cutters. The transmission bolted up just fine. Use the Chevrolet cross member and some two-wheel drive pads for the cross member. Everything bolted up. I did not have to even drill one hole for that transmission or transfer case. I can't believe everything is like that, but anyway, I got it all bolted up. So getting close. I'm going to put a fuel tank underneath this thing and take it for a test drive tomorrow because my Chevrolet drive shaft, the front drive shaft, actually bolted right up. Well, that's the front drive shaft bolted in there, and that's actually the Chevrolet drive shaft that was underneath this truck, and it's bolted up to the transfer case. And this cross member right here is the cross member that was underneath this truck. It's actually bolted into the same exact holes that it was in, and the pads that sit right there are actually off of a two-wheel drive. So everything was absolutely perfect. Everything just bolted in. I didn't have to drill any holes whatsoever or make any cross members, and it sure saved a lot of time going that route. Eventually I'm going to have to change this adapter that goes from the transmission to the transfer case, because on the back side where the bolts go through on this piece right here, there's actually a broke ear on one of those. But I can do that later on, and I'm going to have to put a seal in the tail shaft of this transfer case right here because you can see it's kind of been leaking just a little bit, and I can do that later on in this build here. And that's not going to stop me from getting this truck painted or continuing on the build, but I'm definitely going to be able to move the truck on its own power now. So I'll get some fuel tanks underneath this thing here for long in the next couple of days, take it for a drive and see how she does. So that's what it's looking like.